Hey, this is Chris and Tara with Crooked Row, and today we wanted to give you guys a heads up on something that has come across our plate, that we saw some changes that are going to be taking place here in the past decades, things that farmers, people who have livestock have used traditionally for treating and caring for their animals. Things that are available over the counter. Those are soon not going to be available over the counter. And we just wanted to raise your awareness of that so you could be prepared and be able to get prepared.
You'll be able to get it through a veterinarian. It's not that they're not going to be available to us, but we largely don't use antibiotics on our homestead. We've never used antibiotics on any of our animals. Yet. I mean, we've been extremely blessed. We've never had a sheep or the cow go through mastitis, and we are extraordinarily thankful for that. But I think that like a lot of people do use antibiotics, and so this is going to be a big change for people who are just used to kind of ordering it online and getting it shipped to them, and the farmer just goes in, knows what to do, because especially if you're raising animals, you know what it looks like, you don't have to spend $200 on a vet to come. So this is kind of, it's definitely going to be for people who are homesteading and farming. It's going to be an expense. So I know that, and we'll link down below the medicines that are affected, but we will also link below the FDA article. Always be informed from the original source. And I read it this morning, and one thing that was a little concerning is that even if you have like that card or whatever it is that where your vet can just send you medicines, they're starting to put in regulations so that the animal has to be in front of the vet face to face every so often, and so that can be a big expense for a homestead, farmstead, just a backyard keeper of animals. This does affect us tremendously, so we just wanted you guys to be aware. And we try to keep our animals like healthy with probiotics. There are
whatever natural means we can be able to find and use.
Like like worms. There are people who are very against natural methods and feels like they don't work. We have actually done it, not with this flock of sheep, but we had a previous flock of sheep, and they got worms, and so we used a method where you mix together molasses, apple cider vinegar, some garlic, and you put it in, the oral syringe and give it to them by mouth. And within, I think it was 2 days, the worms were gone.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah. And so we prefer that. And it's not because, we don't want to demonize anything. Our issue is we just like to know all the ingredients that goes into our animals, because one, we love our animals, but two, we eat our animals or we milk our animals, and so those are going into us and our children.
Yeah. And we want to ensure the optimal health for ourselves as well, for our kids.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah. And so even things like, making sure our chickens get probiotics and get things like that. And I'm not talking spending hundreds of dollars on probiotics. I'm talking about, making your own probiotics. And chickens love sauerkraut. and other things, if you have dairy cows or sheep or goats, and you separate out anything and you have whey left over, there's probiotics and wonderful things within that whey. Give it to your chickens, feed it back to the livestock. There's so many animals that can benefit from these things to give them optimal gut health. We know that so many things start in the gut, and so it's really important that we utilize what we have, like that whole recycling thing, and it all kind of stays on your homestead, farm, backyard, whatever operation you have. It all starts here and ends here. And
That's
so it's a closed loop.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so some of the natural remedies that we've come across in our studies and practice, things that have been known for a long time, garlic, you can use garlic, and that's used as a remedy for a lot of different things. Honey is very antimicrobial. It can be used for healing wounds, you know, on the surface. So you have garlic, honey, turmeric. And so a lot of these have anti-inflammatory as well as antimicrobial properties and are used effectively in the treatment of animals.
Yeah. And so a lot of the things that would help us, I know someone who had a hysterectomy and they actually put honey on her wound and then just put tape on it. They didn't put in staples, they didn't put in stitches, and her wound healed beautifully. So, and that's used in the medical world. So these aren't like hokey, you know, silly things. And again, if you start using a natural remedy and your animal is failing, don't keep doing it. Go get medicine. Like don't risk an animal's life. Don't let them be in pain. Like, you know, we're extraordinarily good to our animals, and we worry about their health, their happiness, and all those things. And we know that everyone else does too. We hope everyone else does too.
We hope.
And but I think that natural cures are faster, typically because you have these things on hand, so you can administer these right away. Some of the things like probiotics is just going to be a thing that you do every day anyway, and just build really good gut health for your animals. Also, my sons, I was sick last week with tonsillitis, and so my sons went out and they made a video about despurring a rooster, and that YouTube put a age restriction on it because, I don't know, I guess it was gruesome. And but after watching the video, I think that not only is it not gruesome, it's something that can actually help hens not be harmed. Yeah. And so we would, and I know that they're trying to keep, there are people out there who would do something weird to an animal. This was not that kind of video. And so we encourage people to watch it. My sons did a funny, silly opening to it, but the video is actually extremely informative. And taking off spurs from roosters is so important for your hens, because they really can be harmed. We have had hens that actually were disemboweled, like she died. It was a horrible death, and there's just no need for it. It's like, and those are just like hard keratin, the spurs are, that you take pliers and you kind of rock the plier back and forth and they just pop right off. And I'm not saying that the rooster is, you know, at a spa, but he's not in pain. No, I think he's uncomfortable. They don't, when chickens are in pain, they squawk. And so our roosters have never squawked, and so our roosters have never squawked. They kind of like pull their leg once you pop it off. But it's definitely a very informative video. Anybody who has ever been accosted by a rooster, also I have, all my children have, knows that they utilize those